They say you can't kill an Alpha King, but you can bury him alive, and I'm the only one who knows the truth. I stand at the edge of the crowd, hood pulled low, as rain hammers the black umbrellas above 1,000 bowed heads. The obsidian casket gleams like a dark mirror in the center of the royal platform, surrounded by white roses already browning at the edges. Fitting. Everything about this funeral is rotting from the inside out. I shouldn't be here. Every wolf in this crowd made that clear 2 years ago when Aldrich Blackthorn, Alpha King of the Northern Territories, looked me in the eye during the mate bond ceremony and said 5 words that shattered my world. I reject you, Omega Ashwood. The bond snapped like a bone breaking. I felt it in my chest, my spine, behind my eyes. While the court whispered and laughed, I bled from the inside out where no one could see. An Omega rejected by her fated mate doesn't just lose her partner, she loses her place in the pack, her worth, her future. So no, I shouldn't be here. But I am. Because 30 minutes ago, while the funeral procession wound through the capital streets, something impossible happened. My Omega senses, the same instincts that Aldrich claimed made me too weak to be his queen, caught something that every Alpha, Beta, and warrior in this kingdom missed. A heartbeat. Faint. Irregular. Barely there. But definitely there. I pull my cloak tighter and move through the crowd, ignoring the sharp looks and wrinkled noses. Omegas have a scent that broadcasts our rank to everyone nearby, soft, non-threatening, forgettable. Most wolves don't even register us as worth noticing. Today, that works in my favor. I slip between the pack members gathered to mourn their king, keeping my head down and my breathing steady. The closer I get to the platform, the stronger it becomes. Not just a feeling anymore, a certainty. My Omega senses are screaming so loud I'm amazed no one else can hear them. He's alive. The Alpha King is alive in that casket. Beloved subjects, Marcus Blackthorn's voice booms across the courtyard. He stands beside the casket in ceremonial black, his hand resting on the polished surface. Aldrich's younger brother. Soon to be crowned king. Today we lay to rest the greatest ruler our kingdom has ever known. I push forward through the crowd. Someone elbows me hard in the ribs. Another wolf snarls at me to stay back, know my place. But I can't stop now. That heartbeat is getting weaker. My brother dedicated his life to strengthening our kingdom, Marcus continues. His voice is smooth, practiced. Nothing like Aldrich's rough commands. Though his death came suddenly, we take comfort knowing. Stop. The word tears out of my throat before I can swallow it back. 1,000 heads turn. The rain seems to pause mid-fall. Marcus's eyes find me in the crowd, and his expression shifts from confusion to recognition to something cold and sharp. Remove her. Wait, please. I break free from the wolves grabbing at my cloak and stumble toward the platform. My hood falls back. Gasps ripple through the crowd. They recognize me now. The rejected Omega. The one who wasn't good enough. You have to listen to me. The king, he's not. Sarah Ashwood. Marcus's voice could freeze fire. You dare show your face here? After everything? He's alive. I shout, pointing at the casket. I can sense it. His heart is still beating. Laughter erupts from the crowd. Not kind laughter. The cruel, cutting kind that makes my cheeks burn and my scars ache. The ones on my left shoulder where Aldrich's claws tore through skin and muscle when he physically removed me from the palace after the rejection. The Omega's gone mad, someone calls out. Always knew she was broken, another voice adds. Desperate for attention, says a third. Marcus holds up one hand and the laughter dies. He looks at me with something that might be pity if it wasn't wrapped in so much contempt. Sarah. I understand grief can make people. This isn't grief. I climb the first step of the platform. Royal guards move to block me but Marcus waves them off. He wants to humiliate me properly, I realize. Wants everyone to watch. I know how this sounds. I know what you all think of me. But I'm an Omega, my senses don't lie. There's a heartbeat in that casket. Something's wrong. The king died 3 days ago, Marcus says slowly, like he's explaining to a child. Heart failure. Sudden and complete. We have the royal physician's report. The death certificate signed by 6 witnesses. Then they're wrong. Or lying. I take another step up. The guards tense, but still Marcus doesn't signal them to grab me. Please. Just open it. Check for yourself. If I'm wrong, I'll leave. I'll accept whatever punishment you want. But if I'm right. If you're right? Marcus's laugh is soft and dangerous. Then what, little Omega? You think you've discovered some grand conspiracy? You think someone's trying to bury my brother alive? He shakes his head. You're not special, Sarah. You're not the hero of this story. You're just a broken Omega who can't accept that the man who rejected her is gone. The words hit like physical blows. My vision blurs, but I force myself to stay standing. I'm not lying. No, Marcus agrees. You're just wrong. He nods to the guards. Remove her from the premises. Gently. She's clearly unwell. Hands grip my arms, firm but not brutal. They're hauling me backward when I see him. Kane Lockwood. The Beta. Aldrich's second-in-command and closest friend for 20 years. He stands at the edge of the platform in the shadows, his scarred face expressionless. But his eyes, those cold gray eyes that miss nothing, are locked on the casket. And in them, I see something that makes my blood run cold. Doubt. Kane. I struggle against the guard's hold. You know something's wrong. I can see it. Tell them. The Beta's gaze shifts to me for just a moment. His face reveals nothing. Then he looks away, deliberately, and the guards drag me down the steps. No, wait, please, my voice cracks. Just check the casket. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. Enough. Marcus's command silences the courtyard. Sarah Ashwood, you are hereby charged with disturbing a royal funeral and making false accusations against the crown. You'll be held in the palace cells until your trial. Trial? The word comes out as a gasp. For telling the truth? For lies. Marcus turns his back on me. For slander and disruption. And if you continue this delusion, for treason against the new king. The guards pull me through the crowd now. Wolves part like I'm diseased. Some spit at my feet. Others just stare with that mix of pity and disgust that I've learned to recognize. The rain soaks through my cloak as they haul me toward the black carriages waiting at the courtyard gates. I twist in their grip one last time, straining to see the platform. The casket sits there, perfect and still and sealed. And somewhere inside it, I swear on everything I am, a heart is beating. Marcus stands with his hand on the obsidian surface, already playing the grieving brother for the crowd. But behind him, half hidden in shadow, Kane Lockwood watches me being dragged away. Our eyes meet across the distance. And this time, I'm certain. He knows. Whatever's happening here, whatever truth is buried in that casket, the Beta knows. The question is, why isn't he talking? The guards throw me into the carriage. The door slams shut. Through the barred window, I watch the funeral continue as if I never interrupted. As if my warning meant nothing. The casket will be sealed in the royal crypts within the hour. Buried under tons of stone and magic wards. If Aldrich Blackthorne is really alive in there, this is his last chance. And I'm locked in a carriage heading to a cell. I press my forehead against the cold bars and close my eyes, reaching out with every Omega sense I have. Searching for that impossible heartbeat one more time. But there's nothing now. Either I was wrong, or I'm already too far away, or he's dying, and I'm the only one who cared enough to try to stop it. The carriage lurches forward. Through the rain and the crowd noise, I hear Marcus's voice rising in his eulogy. Hear the 1,000 wolves responding with howls of mourning. They're burying their king today. The only question is whether he's already dead, or if he will be by the time they seal that tomb. And why Cain Lockwood, the beta who's supposed to protect his alpha above all else, is letting it happen. Wanting to see what would happen next, subscribe to this channel to get to listen to more of our upcoming exciting stories. Click on the subscribe button now. Thank you. Chapter 2. The palace dungeons smell like old blood and despair. I sit on the stone bench in my cell, arms wrapped around my knees, listening to water drip somewhere in the darkness. They took my cloak, my boots, everything but the thin dress I wore under my traveling clothes. The cold seeps into my bones, but I barely feel it. I'm too busy replaying the funeral in my mind, over and over, searching for what I missed. That heartbeat was real. I know it was. But maybe Marcus is right. Maybe I am broken. Maybe 2 years of living as a rejected Omega, scraping by in border towns where no one knows my shame, has finally cracked something essential inside me. Maybe I wanted so badly to matter again that my mind invented a crisis only I could solve. The thought makes me want to scream. Footsteps echo down the corridor. I don't look up. They've already brought my dinner, a bowl of thin soup and stale bread. I haven't touched it. My Omega instincts are still screaming that something's wrong, and eating feels impossible when every nerve in my body is on fire with certainty and doubt in equal measure. The footsteps stop outside my cell. You're either the bravest fool I've ever met, a low voice says, or you actually believe what you said out there. My head snaps up. Cain Lockwood stands on the other side of the iron bars, still in his funeral blacks. His face is all hard angles and old scars, a warrior's face that's seen too much violence. But his gray eyes aren't cold anymore. They're calculating. Measuring. Beta. I stand slowly, not sure if this is a trick. Come to tell me how crazy I am? Because I've heard it already. No. He pulls a key from his pocket, an old iron thing that looks like it opens every lock in this place, and slides it into the cell door. I came to tell you that you're right. The words hit me like a physical shock. For a moment, I can't breathe. The lock clicks. Cain pushes the door open but doesn't step inside. He stays in the corridor, one hand resting on the hilt of the blade at his hip. Always ready for a fight. Always ready to run. What did you say? My voice comes out barely above a whisper. I said you're right. About Aldrich. Cain's jaw tightens. I've had doubts since the day he supposedly died. The whole thing stinks worse than a 3-day-old corpse, and I've been around enough of those to know. I take a step closer to the open door, but I don't cross the threshold. This could still be a trap. Marcus could be testing me, seeing if I'll compound my crimes by escaping. What doubts? Cain glances down the corridor, checking we're alone. When he speaks again, his voice is lower. 3 days ago, Aldrich was fine. Healthy. Stronger than he'd been in months. We sparred that morning, he damn near broke my ribs. Then that afternoon, he collapsed during a council meeting. Just dropped like someone cut his strings. Heart failure, I say, repeating what Marcus told the crowd. That's what the royal physician said. Dr. Vance. But here's the thing, he wouldn't let anyone else examine the body. Not me, not the king's personal healer, not even Marcus at first. Vance claimed it was protocol, but I've been beta for 15 years and I've never heard of that protocol. Cain's eyes are hard. And the illness that supposedly caused the heart failure? It came on in less than 6 hours. No warning. No symptoms. 1 minute the king's fine, the next he's dying, and 6 hours later he's dead. My mind races. Poison. That's what I thought. But Vance swore up and down that he tested for every poison known to wolfkind. Said the king's heart just gave out. Natural causes. Cain's laugh is bitter. A 42-year-old alpha king in perfect health. Natural causes. You didn't believe him. I didn't believe him, Cain confirms. But I had no proof. No evidence. Just a gut feeling that something was wrong. And then you showed up at the funeral and said exactly what I'd been thinking but couldn't prove. He meets my eyes. You felt his heartbeat, didn't you? That wasn't a metaphor or Omega dramatics. You actually sensed it. I nod slowly. It was faint. Irregular. But it was there. I swear it was there. I believe you. The words should comfort me, but they don't. Because if Cain believes me, that means everything I feared is true. Which is why we need to dig him up. The statement hangs in the cold air between us. You want to exhume the casket, I say carefully. Tonight. Before they seal the crypt permanently tomorrow morning. Cain pulls out a second key, this one smaller, made of silver. I have access to the royal tombs. Marcus doesn't know I kept a key when he took over security. We go in, we open the casket, we see if your instincts were right. And if they were? If he's alive in there? Then we get him out and find out who tried to kill him. Cain's expression darkens. And if he's dead, well, at least we'll know for sure. At least I'll be able to sleep without wondering if I buried my king alive. I study the beta's face, looking for the trap. Looking for the lie. But all I see is a man who's been carrying the same terrible doubt I have, only he's had to hide it behind protocol and loyalty while it ate him from the inside. Why do you need me? I ask. You could do this yourself. Because if something goes wrong, I need a witness. Someone who knows what we found, what we were looking for. And because. He hesitates, and for the first time since I've known him, Cain Lockwood looks uncertain. Because your Omega senses might pick up things I can't. If there's magic involved, spells, curses, anything supernatural, you'll feel it before I will. It's true. Omegas might be weak in strength and status, but our senses are sharper than any alphas. We feel the currents of pack bonds, the threads of magic, the subtle wrongness that others miss. It's why we're supposed to be protected, valued, cherished. It's also why Aldrich rejected me. Too sensitive. Too weak. Too Omega. There's a catch, I say, because there's always a catch. What do you want in return? Cain's eyes don't waver. Your silence. If we do this and find nothing, if the casket has a body that's been dead for 3 days, you never mention my involvement. You take the fall alone. You tell Marcus you escaped and broke into the crypt yourself. I can't risk my position if this goes wrong. So I'm the sacrifice. You're already marked as a criminal, Cain says, not unkindly. One more charge won't change your fate. But if they know I helped you, if they think the beta doubts the official story. He shakes his head. I'm more useful to Aldrich alive and in position than dead or exiled. You understand that. I do understand. I hate it, but I understand. And if we find something? If he's alive? Then we're both fugitives, Cain says flatly. Because whoever did this has enough power to fake a king's death and make it stick. They'll kill us to keep the secret. The smart thing would be to refuse. To stay in this cell and wait for my trial and accept whatever punishment Marcus hands down. I could probably get away with exile. A few years in the outer territories, banned from the capital. I've survived worse. But that heartbeat. That impossible, undeniable heartbeat. If there's even a chance Aldrich is alive, I have to know. Not for him, not for the man who rejected me and left me scarred in body and soul. But for the truth. For the proof that I'm not crazy, not broken, not wrong. I'll do it, I say. But I need your word. If we find him alive, you help me get him somewhere safe. No matter what. Cain considers this, then nods once. You have my word. He tosses me a bundle he'd been carrying, my cloak and boots, along with dark clothing similar to what he's wearing. I dress quickly while he keeps watch in the corridor. The new clothes fit well enough. Whoever Cain borrowed them from must be close to my size. One more thing, I say as I lace up the boots. Why are you really doing this? 15 years as his beta, and you're risking everything on an Omega's instinct. There has to be more. Cain is quiet for a long moment. When he speaks, his voice is rough. Because 2 years ago, I gave Aldrich advice that I've regretted every day since. My hand's still on the laces. It was Marcus's idea first, Cain continues. He came to me and Aldrich privately, told us that an Omega Queen would make the kingdom look weak. That the other territories would see it as a sign that our Alpha King was going soft. Marcus can be very persuasive when he wants to be. His jaw tightens. I should have told him to go to hell. Should have told Aldrich to follow his instincts, trust the mate bond. But I didn't. I backed Marcus's play. Told Aldrich that politically, a rejection made sense. The confession hangs between us like a blade. You, I say slowly, standing up, told him to reject me. I advised him to consider it. The decision was his own. But Cain's eyes show he knows that's a weak defense. I thought I was protecting the kingdom. Protecting him. Instead, I helped destroy something that the moon goddess herself created. He meets my gaze. I can't fix what I did to you. But if there's any chance to save him, I have to take it. I owe him that much. The betrayal cuts deeper than I expected. I'd always assumed the rejection was purely Aldrich's choice, his disgust at being tied to someone so beneath him. Learning that his beta, his most trusted advisor, pushed him toward it makes the wound fresh again. But I don't have the luxury of dealing with that pain right now. Let's go, I say coldly. Before I change my mind. We move through the dungeons like shadows. Cain knows every guard rotation, every blind spot in the palace security. He's been planning this, I realize. Maybe not with me specifically, but he's been preparing for the possibility that he'd need to get into that crypt without authorization. The palace is massive, all black stone and Gothic arches that seem to swallow light. We take servants' passages and forgotten stairwells, avoiding the main corridors where Marcus's new guards patrol. The funeral ended hours ago, but the palace is still buzzing with activity, wolves coming and going, preparing for tomorrow's official crypt sealing. The new moon helps, Cain murmurs as we slip out a side entrance into the gardens. Less light, fewer patrols. Marcus thinks everyone's too drunk on funeral wine to cause trouble tonight. The royal crypts sit on the far edge of the palace grounds, built into the side of a hill like a massive stone mouth. Ancient runes cover the entrance, protective wards that supposedly keep the dead at rest and the living out. But Cain pulls out his silver key and presses it to the center rune. The wards shimmer, recognize his authority, and part. After you, he says quietly. I step into darkness that smells of old stone and older magic. Cain follows, pulling out a small light sphere that illuminates the narrow passage. We descend stairs cut directly into rock, going deeper and deeper until I can feel the weight of the earth above us. The main crypt is a vast chamber lined with stone sarcophagi. Generations of Blackthorn kings and queens rest here, their names carved in silver letters that gleam in Cain's light. But we're not here for the ancestors. We're here for the fresh grave at the chamber's center. Aldrich's casket sits on a raised platform, surrounded by white roses that are already wilting. The obsidian surface reflects our light like a mirror. Tomorrow, this platform will be lowered into the stone vault beneath it, sealed with magic and time. Tonight, it's still accessible. Tonight, we can still open it. Cain sets down the light sphere and approaches the casket. I follow, my heart pounding so hard I'm sure he can hear it. My Omega senses reach out, searching for that heartbeat I felt at the funeral. Nothing. Just cold stone and old magic and the weight of expectations. Help me with the seal, Cain says. He's already working on the clasps that hold the lid shut, complex mechanisms designed to keep grave robbers out. His hands move with practiced efficiency, like he's done this before. Maybe he has. I grab the other side and we work together in silence. The clasps click open one by one. 6 in total. 6 witnesses signed the death certificate. 6 locks to keep the truth buried. When the last clasp releases, Cain looks at me across the casket. Ready? I nod, not trusting my voice. We lift the lid together. It's heavy, solid obsidian that takes both our strength to move. The hinges creak in the silence. The sound echoes through the crypt like a scream. And then we see what's inside. Nothing. The casket is empty. No, not quite empty. A mannequin lies where the king's body should be. It's roughly carved, about the right size and shape, but unmistakably fake. And covering it, woven into the wood itself, are spells. I can see them with my Omega senses, threads of magic pulsing faintly in patterns I don't recognize. Goddess save us, Cain breathes. It's been empty this whole time. My mind spins. The funeral. The viewing. Everyone saw the body. Glamour spell, Cain says, running his fingers over the mannequin. The magic sparks at his touch. A strong one. Makes you see what the caster wants you to see. We were all looking at this thing and seeing Aldrich's corpse. His face has gone pale. This took serious power. Serious planning. Then where is he? My voice cracks. If he's not dead and he's not here, where's the actual body? Before Cain can answer, the sound of boots on stone echoes from the entrance. Multiple sets. Moving fast. We both freeze. Beta Lockwood, Marcus's voice calls down from above, smooth and terrible. I know you're down there. Come out. Bring the Omega with you. Let's discuss this misunderstanding. Cain's hand drops to his blade. His eyes meet mine in the dim light, and I see the calculation there. We're trapped. The only exit is back up those stairs, and Marcus clearly has it blocked. There's another way, I whisper. I can feel it. The old tunnels, every crypt this old has them. For priests to come and go without disturbing mourners. You're sure? I'm not sure of anything anymore. But my Omega senses are pulling me toward the back of the chamber, where the oldest sarcophagi rest. Toward a darkness that feels different from the rest. Yes, I lie. We run. Behind us, Marcus's hunters pour into the crypt. I hear him calling orders, hear the sound of claws extending as wolves prepare to shift. They're not taking chances. They're coming to kill. I find the passage exactly where my instinct said it would be, hidden behind a stone bearing a queen's name so old it's nearly worn away. Cain shoves it aside with a strength that reminds me he's not just any beta, but the best warrior in the kingdom. We plunge into darkness. The passage is narrow, rough, carved by hands that never expected it to be used in a hurry. I scrape my shoulders on stone as we run, following Cain's light sphere and my own desperate sense of direction. Behind us, I hear the hunters finding the passage. Hear them giving chase. They're declaring us conspirators, Cain says as we run. His breathing is steady despite the pace. Accusing us of stealing the body. Of murdering the king and hiding the evidence. But we didn't, the casket was already empty. Doesn't matter. It's a better story than the truth. Cain grabs my hand, pulling me faster as the passage splits. Marcus wins either way. If we die down here, we're the villains who killed his brother. If we escape, we're fugitives and he's the righteous heir hunting justice. Then someone needs to find Aldrich first, I gasp out. Prove he's alive. Prove Marcus is lying. We need to survive the next 10 minutes, Cain corrects. Then we worry about kings and truth. The passage opens suddenly into a larger chamber, a cistern, old and dry, with multiple tunnels branching off like arteries. Cain pulls me into the nearest one as the hunters burst into the cistern behind us. And then I smell it. Blood. Fresh blood. And something else. Something that makes my Omega senses scream. Alpha King blood. Cain, I whisper, grabbing his arm. Wait. Aldrich was here. Recently. I can smell him. The beta freezes. His nostrils flare as he catches the scent too. You're right. He came through this tunnel. Within the last day, maybe less. Which means he escaped. Or someone moved him. Either way, Aldrich was alive enough to bleed. Behind us, the hunters are spreading out through the cistern. We have seconds to choose, run, or follow the blood trail and risk getting caught. I look at Kane. He looks at me. We run toward the blood. The tunnel winds through the hillside, getting narrower and steeper. The blood scent gets stronger. There are drag marks in the dirt now. Someone moved something heavy this way. Or someone very wounded dragged themselves. There, Kane breathes, pointing ahead. The tunnel opens into a natural cave. And in that cave, barely visible in the light sphere's glow, is a body. We rush forward together. Kane drops to his knees beside the figure sprawled on the cave floor. He rolls the body over and I see the face. It's Aldrich. But not the proud, powerful Alpha King I remember. This version is gaunt, pale, covered in wounds that haven't healed. His chest rises and falls with shallow breaths. Barely alive. Barely holding on. And around his neck, glowing with sickly green light, is a collar made of silver and dark magic. Poison collar, Kane says, his voice hollow. It's been draining him. Keeping him weak. Keeping him hidden from anyone who might sense him. I reach out with my Omega senses, and the truth hits me like a blow. This is why I could barely feel his heartbeat at the funeral. The collar was suppressing everything, his strength, his presence, his life force itself. Someone wanted him alive, but only just. Wanted him to suffer. Who would do this? I whisper. But even as I ask, I know. There's only one person who benefits from Aldrich being gone but not quite dead. One person who needed the king removed but couldn't risk the pack bond breaking completely, which would happen if Aldrich truly died while he still had no heir. Marcus. We need to move him, Kane says, already working on the collar. This magic is beyond me, I can't break it without killing him. But we can't leave him here. I help Kane lift Aldrich's unconscious form. He's heavy despite how thin he's become, all muscle and dead weight. The Alpha King who rejected me. The man I should hate. The man whose heartbeat I came to save. Behind us, echoing down the tunnel, I hear the hunters getting closer. How do we get out of here? I ask. Kane's expression is grim. We don't. Not all of us. He meets my eyes, and I see the decision he's already made. Take him. Follow this cave, it opens onto the eastern slope. There's a safe house in the forest, an old hunter's cabin. I'll lead them away, buy you time. They'll kill you. Maybe. Maybe not. I'm still beta. Marcus will want to make a show of my trial. Kane presses something into my hand, a small key. The cabin. And this, he pulls a ring from his finger, the beta's seal. Show this to the border packs. Tell them the beta commands their aid in the name of the true king. Kane. Go. He shoves me toward the cave's deeper darkness. Every second counts. The collar is killing him. You have maybe 2 days before it stops his heart completely. I can't do this alone, I say, and I hate how my voice shakes. You're stronger than you think, Sarah Ashwood. Kane draws his blade, turning back toward the tunnel. Stronger than he ever gave you credit for. Now prove it. Save the king. Find out who did this. Make them pay. And then he's gone, running back down the tunnel toward the hunters. I hear him shout, hear the sound of fighting. Hear him leading them away from us. I adjust Aldrich's weight and stumble deeper into the cave, following the faint current of fresh air that means an exit. My arms scream with effort. My Omega strength isn't made for this. But I don't stop. Behind me, the sounds of fighting fade to silence. I don't let myself think about what that means. I just run, dragging the dying Alpha King toward a freedom I'm not sure either of us will survive. If you're still listening to this story up to this point, why don't you subscribe to this channel to continue getting impactful daily stories like this? We would be most grateful if you can do that to help boost this video to reach everyone. Thank you. Chapter 3. The cabin smells like rot and abandonment. I lower Aldrich onto the narrow cot, my arms shaking with exhaustion. We've been moving for 6 hours through the shadowpine forest, 6 hours of dragging a half-dead Alpha King through undergrowth and over fallen logs while listening for pursuit. My Omega strength gave out 3 hours ago. After that, it was pure stubbornness keeping me upright. The cabin is exactly where Cain said it would be, a hunter's shelter so old the wood has gone silver with age. 1 room, 1 cot, a cold fireplace filled with ancient ash. No furniture except a table with 3 legs and a chair that looks like it would collapse if I breathed on it too hard. But it has walls. A door that locks. A roof that's mostly intact. Right now, that's enough. I collapse onto the floor beside the cot, gasping for air. My dress is torn in a dozen places. My feet are bleeding through my boots. I have scratches on every exposed inch of skin from branches that grabbed at me in the dark. But we made it. We're alive. For now. I force myself to sit up, to check on Aldrich. His breathing is worse than it was in the cave, shallower, more labored. The poison collar around his neck pulses with that sickly green light, and I can see dark veins spreading from it across his skin like roots. Whatever magic this thing is made from, it's actively killing him. 2 days, Cain said. 2 days before the collar stops his heart. I reach for the collar, thinking maybe I can find a clasp, a weak point, anything. But the moment my fingers brush the metal, pain explodes through my hand. I yank back with a gasp. The skin where I touch the collar is red and blistered. Fantastic, I mutter. Protected against tampering. Aldrich doesn't respond. Doesn't even twitch. He's deeply unconscious, trapped in whatever nightmare the poison is feeding him. His face, the face that once looked at me with disgust and rejection, is slack and pale. He looks smaller than I remember. More human. Less like the untouchable Alpha King who destroyed my life. I should hate him. I want to hate him. Instead, I'm trying to save him. I'm examining the collar more carefully, looking for any visible mechanism, when it happens. A pull. Not physical. Deeper than that. It starts somewhere behind my ribs and yanks north with enough force to make me gasp. The direction is specific, undeniable. North. Through the forest. Toward something I can't see but suddenly know with absolute certainty. Toward the Deadlands. No, I whisper, because I know what this is. I've read about it in every Omega text, heard about it from every elder. This is the mate pull. The bond asserting itself, calling one half toward the other when they're in danger or distress. But that's impossible. The bond was severed. Aldrich rejected me. I felt it break. I press my hand to my chest, searching for the bond that should be gone. And there, faint but real, I feel it. A golden thread connecting me to something. Someone. Not Aldrich. He's right here, unconscious and dying. This bond is pulling me away from him. Toward the north. Toward the Deadlands, where no wolf has returned from in 50 years. This isn't happening, I say out loud, as if saying it will make it true. The bond is broken. This is just trauma. Stress. I'm exhausted and imagining things. The pull intensifies, so strong I physically sway toward the cabin's north wall. I bite down on my hand to keep from screaming. The pain helps. Clears my head enough to think. If the mate bond is somehow still active, that means the rejection didn't take. But I felt it break. I felt that snap, that agony of severance. Everyone at court witnessed it. How can a bond be both broken and intact? Unless the rejection was never completed. The thought is so shocking I forget to breathe. A rejection requires specific words, spoken in a specific order. The rejecting party says, "I reject you," and then, after the rejected party accepts with, "I accept your rejection," the final words must be spoken, "By moon and blood, I sever this bond." Aldrich said he rejected me. I accepted, sobbing and broken. But did he say the final words? Did he complete the ritual? I close my eyes, forcing myself back to that moment. The ceremony hall. The court watching. Aldrich looking at me with those cold amber eyes. "I reject you, Omega Ashwood." The bond starting to break. Me falling to my knees. "I accept," I whispered. And then Marcus was there, pulling Aldrich away. Saying something about not wasting more time on an Omega. The guards dragging me out while I bled from the incomplete bond, the pain so overwhelming I couldn't think, couldn't speak, couldn't do anything but scream. He never said the final words. The bond never fully severed. For 2 years, I've been walking around with a broken bond that technically still exists. Half connected to an Alpha King who thought he'd freed himself. No wonder I've felt wrong this whole time. No wonder nothing has felt right. The pull comes again, stronger. Demanding. North. 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 I grab the table to steady myself. "Stop it," I hiss at the bond, at my own traitorous body. He's right here. I'm not leaving him to chase some phantom. A knock at the door freezes me mid-sentence. I snatch up the knife I took from Kane's belt and move to the side of the door. "Who's there?" "It's me." Kane's voice, rough and exhausted. "Let me in before someone sees me standing here like an idiot." I unlock the door and he stumbles inside, covered in blood. Not all of it looks like his own. "Goddess," I move to help him but he waves me off. "I'm fine. Most of this is from the hunters." He locks the door behind him and leans against it, breathing hard. "Led them east for 3 hours before doubling back. They think we're heading for the border. That should buy us a day, maybe 2. You were supposed to let them catch you," I say. "You were supposed to sacrifice yourself so I could get away." Kane gives me a look that's half amusement, half pain. "And miss all the fun? Besides, someone needs to keep you from doing something stupid." He moves past me to check on Aldrich, his warrior's assessment quick and efficient. The collar's worse. He's fading faster. I know. I don't mention the pull. Not yet. "Kane, there's something I need to tell you about the bond." "Later." He cuts me off, already moving to the fireplace. "First we need warmth, food, and a plan that doesn't involve dying in the next 24 hours. Then we can discuss whatever metaphysical crisis you're having." Despite everything, I almost smile. Metaphysical crisis. That's one way to put it. Kane gets a fire going with practiced efficiency. The warmth feels like a luxury after hours of cold. He produces food from a pack I hadn't noticed: dried meat, hard cheese, a flask of water. We eat in silence, both too exhausted for conversation. But I can feel the pull growing stronger. North. Always north. Like someone's reeling me in on a line I can't see or cut. Finally, I can't take it anymore. The bond isn't severed. Kane pauses with the flask halfway to his mouth. "What?" "The mate bond between me and Aldrich. It's not severed. The rejection was never completed." The words come out in a rush. He never spoke the final words. For 2 years, we've been half bonded. And now it's pulling me north. Toward the Deadlands. Kane sets down the flask very carefully. "That's not possible. I know what I feel." "No, I mean," he runs a hand through his dark hair, leaving streaks of blood. "The Deadlands are forbidden for a reason. Nothing lives there. Every wolf who's gone in has either died or gone mad. If your bond is pulling you there, then something in the Deadlands is connected to Aldrich, I finish. Either he was investigating something there, or whoever did this to him has a base there, or, I stop, because the other option is too terrible to voice. Or Aldrich isn't completely here. Part of him, his soul, his consciousness, something essential, is in the Deadlands. Kane must see the realization on my face because his expression darkens. Soul magic. Goddess save us, they split his soul. Can that even be done? It can. It's forbidden, ancient magic that the old covens used before the werewolf kingdoms were established. You split a person's essence, trap part of it somewhere else. Makes them easier to control, harder to kill, and basically a puppet for whoever holds the other half. Kane looks at Aldrich's unconscious form. If someone has part of his soul in the Deadlands, then saving his body won't be enough. We'd need to retrieve the missing piece. The pull intensifies, like the bond heard us talking about it and decided to weigh in. I grab the table again, gritting my teeth against the sensation of being torn in two directions. Kane sees. Understands. It's bad, isn't it? The pull. Getting worse. My voice is strained. I don't know how long I can resist it. Then we follow it. Kane says it like it's obvious, like he's not suggesting we walk into territory that's killed every wolf who's entered it. Tomorrow night. We move Aldrich somewhere more secure, get supplies, and then we head north. You don't have to come with me. Someone has to keep you alive. He meets my eyes, and there's something in his expression I can't quite read. Besides, before Aldrich was poisoned, he was investigating Marcus. Had been for months. He suspected his brother of treason, specifically, of making deals with the rogue packs in the Deadlands. This is new information. Dangerous information. What kind of deals? The kind that involve overthrowing the king and remaking the kingdom in Marcus's image. Aldrich found evidence that Marcus has been building an army in the Deadlands. Rogues, exiled wolves, dark magic users. Anyone with a grudge against the crown and no loyalty to pack law. Kane's jaw tightens. I was helping him investigate. That's why I had doubts when he suddenly died. It was too convenient. Too perfectly timed. So Marcus poisoned him before he could expose the treason. That's my theory. And if Marcus has a base in the Deadlands, that's where he'd hide the evidence. Maybe even where he'd hide the piece of Aldrich's soul. Kane stands, moving to the window to check the forest. Which means following your bond might actually lead us exactly where we need to go. I want to argue. Want to point out that this is suicide. But the pull is getting unbearable, and deep down, I know Kane is right. The bond is leading me to something important. Something that might save Aldrich and expose Marcus's crimes. I just have to survive long enough to reach it. We take turns sleeping in shifts, one of us always watching the door. I dream of golden threads and dark forests and amber eyes that look at me with something other than disgust. When I wake, the pull is so strong I have to physically hold onto the cot to keep from walking out the door. Dawn breaks gray and cold. Kane helps me get Aldrich upright, and we prepare to move. The plan is to find a more secure location, a cave or abandoned den, before making the journey north. Aldrich can't make the trip into the Deadlands in his current condition. We need somewhere to leave his body while we retrieve his soul. If that's even possible. If we survive that long. We're half a mile from the cabin when I smell them. Rogues. At least 6, moving through the trees with the coordination of trained hunters. Not random attacks. Deliberate ambush. Kane smells them too. He lowers Aldrich behind a fallen log and draws his blade. Get him away from here. I'll hold them off. There's too many. Go. The rogues burst from the trees before I can argue. 6 massive wolves in attack formation, their eyes glowing red with bloodlust or magic or both. They ignore me completely, going straight for Kane. Because they were sent for him specifically. Marcus's hunters. Kane fights like the trained warrior he is, efficient, brutal, deadly. He drops the first rogue with a blade through the throat. Dodges the second's attack and opens its belly. But there are too many, and even the best beta can't hold off 6 rogues alone. I drag Aldrich further into the undergrowth, searching desperately for somewhere to hide, somewhere to run. The pole is screaming at me to go north, but I can't abandon Cain to die alone. A rogue breaks free from the fight and comes for me. I raise Cain's knife, knowing it won't be enough. I'm an Omega. I have no combat training. This wolf will tear through me like paper. The rogue lunges. And a figure appears from nowhere, moving so fast I don't see them until they're between me and the rogue. A person in a dark cloak, hood pulled low. They don't carry a weapon. Don't shift into wolf form. They just speak. Kneel. The alpha command hits like a physical wave. It's not loud. It's not shouted. But it carries power that makes my bones vibrate and my Omega instinct scream to submit. The attacking rogue drops mid-lunge, hitting the ground hard. Its red eyes fade to normal wolf amber, confused and terrified. In the clearing, Cain has gone still. Even he's affected, though he's fighting it. The other rogues have stopped attacking, frozen by a command that shouldn't work on them. Rogues don't have pack bonds. They shouldn't be able to be commanded. But they're all on the ground, bellies exposed, whimpering. The cloaked figure doesn't move toward them. Doesn't speak again. They just stand there, radiating authority that feels older and stronger than any alpha I've ever encountered. Then the figure turns to look at me. I can't see their face under the hood, but I feel their gaze like a physical touch. They look at me for a long moment, assessing, considering. Then they look down at Aldrich's unconscious form. The figure kneels beside the fallen king. Reaches out one hand and touches the poison collar. The green light flares, angry at the intrusion, but the figure doesn't pull back. They trace a pattern on the metal, so fast I can't follow it, and something in the collar's magic shifts. Not broken. But altered. Like they bought him time. Then they stand and face me again. North, the figure says. Their voice is male, deep, with an accent I don't recognize. Follow the bond. Find what was taken. Or he dies, and the kingdom dies with him. Who are you? I manage to ask. The figure doesn't answer. Instead, they reach into their cloak and pull something out. They toss it to me. I catch it reflexively. It's a ring. Heavy gold with the Blackthorn royal seal carved into onyx. Aldrich's signet ring. The one he wore, always. The one that should be on his finger right now. I look down at Aldrich's hand. The ring is gone. Has been gone. When did it disappear? How did this stranger get it? When I look up, the cloaked figure is gone. Just, gone. Like they were never there. The rogues start to stir, released from the command. Cain moves immediately, efficient and lethal. He doesn't give them a chance to recover. In seconds, all 6 rogues are dead or dying. Then he turns to me, blade still drawn, breathing hard. What in the goddess's name was that? I don't know. I'm staring at the ring in my hand. It's still warm from the stranger's touch. And it smells. I lift it to my nose and inhale. The scent is faint but unmistakable. Pine and smoke and something wild. Something that makes my Omega senses sing with recognition even though I've never smelled it before. It smells like Aldrich. But not quite. Like Aldrich's scent filtered through distance or time or magic. Cain, I say slowly. This ring. It has Aldrich's scent. But it's wrong somehow. Different. The beta takes the ring, examines it, smells it. His expression goes carefully blank. That's not possible. Nothing about this is possible. I look north, toward where the pull is dragging me. Toward the Deadlands. But that figure saved us. Bought Aldrich time with the collar. And told me to follow the bond north. Could be a trap. Everything is a trap at this point. I grab Aldrich under the arms. But I'm going anyway. The bond won't give me a choice much longer. Cain helps me lift the unconscious king. We move quickly through the forest, putting distance between us and the dead rogues. As we walk, I feel the beta watching me. Not just guarding. Something else. What? I finally ask. Nothing. But his tone says it's not nothing. Just wondering if you realize what you're doing. What you're risking for someone who rejected you. I'm not doing this for Aldrich, I say, and I'm surprised to realize it's true. I'm doing this because it's the right thing. Because the kingdom needs their king, even if he's a bastard who broke my heart. And because, I stop, not sure I want to voice this. Because? Cain prompts. Because I need to know the truth. About the bond, about the rejection, about all of it. And the only way to get answers is to follow this through to the end. I adjust Aldrich's weight. Whatever that end looks like. Cain is quiet for a long moment. Then, he didn't deserve you, you know. 2 years ago. He didn't deserve the mate bond the goddess gave him. The word surprised me. You helped convince him to reject me. I know. And I've regretted it every day since. Cain's voice is rough. Watching you suffer. Watching him become harder, colder, more isolated without his fated mate. I thought I was protecting the kingdom. Instead, I helped break something that was supposed to save it. Why are you telling me this? Because, he stops walking. Looks at me with eyes that hold too many emotions for me to sort through. Because you should know that you're not weak. You're not broken. You're not any of the things they said about you at court. You're the strongest person I know, Sarah Ashwood. And if circumstances were different. He doesn't finish. Doesn't need to. I understand what he's not saying. Can see it in the way he looks at me, the way he's protected me, the care he takes to keep me safe. The beta has developed feelings for the omega his advice helped destroy. And we both know nothing can ever come of it. Because even if Aldrich rejected me, even if the bond is broken and twisted and wrong, it still exists. And Cain would never betray his alpha that way. Would never pursue his king's fated mate, no matter how he feels. Circumstances are what they are, I say gently. And right now, they require us to save your king and expose his brother's treason. Everything else. I trail off. Everything else is complicated. Complicated. Cain laughs, but there's no humor in it. That's one word for it. We keep moving north. The pull gets stronger with every mile. Behind us, I know Marcus's hunters are regrouping. Ahead, the Deadlands wait, forbidden territory that's killed everyone who's entered it. And somewhere in that cursed place, part of Aldrich's soul is trapped. Waiting to be found or lost forever. I carry the unconscious Alpha King toward his own salvation, led by a broken bond that shouldn't exist, helped by a beta who can't have what he wants, pursued by a brother who would rather see us all dead than lose his stolen throne. The signet ring burns against my palm where I've slipped it onto a cord around my neck. It pulses with warmth that matches the pull of the bond. North. Always north. Toward answers or death or both. I guess we'll find out which. If you're still listening to this story up to this point, why don't you subscribe to this channel to continue getting impactful daily stories like this? We would be most grateful if you can do that to help boost this video to reach everyone. Thank you. Chapter 4. The Deadlands earned their name. We cross the boundary at dusk, and I feel it immediately, the wrongness. It's not just the skeletal trees or the gray earth that looks like ash. It's deeper than that. The magic here is sick. Twisted. Like the land itself is dying from some ancient wound that never healed. My omega senses scream at me to turn back. Every instinct I have says this place is death. But the bond pulls me forward with relentless certainty. North. Deeper into the cursed territory. Towards something that pulses with familiar warmth despite the surrounding cold. Stay close, Cain murmurs. He's carrying Aldrich now. I couldn't manage anymore, not with my Omega strength depleted and the wrongness of this place sapping what little energy I have left. And don't touch anything. The magic here is corrupted. Even the plants can kill you. I believe him. The few plants that remain are blackened, thorny things that seem to reach toward us as we pass. The air smells of rot and old magic. Nothing moves. No birds, no insects, no small animals scurrying through undergrowth. Just silence broken only by our footsteps and Aldrich's labored breathing. We've been walking for 3 hours when I see it. The temple rises from the gray landscape like a broken tooth. It must have been magnificent once, all white stone and soaring columns, built in the old style when wolves still worshipped at the feet of the moon goddess instead of in modern churches. But centuries of neglect and the Deadlands poison have taken their toll. The columns are cracked, the roof mostly collapsed, and dark vines cover everything like veins of disease. The bond pulls me straight toward it. That's where we're going, I say, pointing. Cain follows my gaze and curses under his breath. Ancient temple. Of course it is. Why would anything about this be simple? We approach cautiously. The temple grounds are surrounded by broken statuary. Wolves in various poses of worship or battle, all eroded beyond recognition. The main entrance yawns open like a mouth, darkness pooling inside. The pull intensifies to the point of pain. Whatever I'm looking for, it's in there. Let me go first, Cain says, lowering Aldrich carefully to the ground. If it's a trap. It's not a trap. I don't know how I know this, but I'm certain. It's him. Part of him. The bond is screaming that he's in there. He's right here. Cain gestures to the unconscious king. His body is here. His soul, or part of it, is in there. I start toward the entrance before Cain can argue. The pull is unbearable now. I have to know. Have to see. The interior of the temple is darker than it should be, like the shadows here are thicker than normal. Our light sphere barely penetrates 10 feet. But I don't need light. The bond guides me like a rope pulling me forward. Down broken stairs. Through a corridor lined with ancient murals too faded to read. Into a vast chamber that must have been the main sanctuary. And there, chained to a pillar in the center of the room, is Aldrich. Not the unconscious, poisoned Aldrich that Cain is carrying. This Aldrich is awake. His eyes, those amber eyes I remember, track our movement as we enter. But there's something wrong with them. Something wild and unfocused. Like he's looking at us from very far away. He's shirtless, covered in wounds that weep silver blood, a sign of spelled chains. The silver wraps around his wrists, his ankles, his throat. Not a collar like the one on the unconscious Aldrich. These chains are cruder, older, but somehow more vicious. They've cut into his skin, leaving burns that haven't healed. He's been here for days. Maybe since he died. Tortured and alone in the dark. Goddess, Cain breathes behind me. There's 2 of him. No, I say, moving closer despite every warning instinct. This is the missing piece. The part that was split away. I can feel it now. The bond connects to this Aldrich, not the one outside. This is where his consciousness is. His soul. His true self. The other Aldrich is just a shell. A body kept barely alive by the poison collar. Sarah. My name on his lips is rough, broken. Aldrich strains against the chains, and they burn brighter. Silver smoke rises from where they touch his skin. Sarah, you shouldn't, not safe here. Neither are you. I kneel in front of him, careful not to touch the chains. Up close, I can see how bad it really is. The silver poisoning is spreading through his veins like black lightning. His wolf is close to the surface, too close. His eyes flicker between human amber and wolf gold. He's barely holding on. Tried to break free, he gasps. Can't. The chains, they're keyed to my blood. Only someone else can. Then I'll do it. I reach for the chain at his wrist. His hand shoots out, catching mine before I can touch the silver. His grip is weak but desperate. No. You don't understand. If you break the chains while I'm fractured, my wolf will take over. Completely. I won't be able to stop it. Your wolf won't hurt me. We're mates. The word feels strange on my tongue after 2 years of trying to forget it. Aldrich's laugh is broken glass. The bond is damaged. Incomplete. My wolf doesn't recognize anything right now except pain and rage. It will kill you, Sarah. Kill anyone who gets close. Then what am I supposed to do? Leave you here to die? Yes. He says it without hesitation. Marcus did this. Poisoned me with Nightshade Veil, makes you appear dead while keeping you conscious. Trapped inside your own body. Couldn't move, couldn't speak, just aware of everything. His voice cracks. They prepared my body. Dressed me. Put me in that casket. I felt all of it. Horror crawls up my spine. You were awake during the funeral. Every moment. Heard the eulogies. Felt them seal the casket. And then. He closes his eyes. Then someone opened it. Moved me. Used dark magic to split my soul, trap part of me here while keeping my body barely alive. Who? Kane asks from behind me. Who moved you? Elena. The name comes out like a prayer. My spymaster. She knew something was wrong. Stopped Marcus's people from finishing me off. Used old magic to split my soul, hide part of me here where Marcus couldn't find it. His eyes open, and they're filled with grief. She saved me. And Marcus killed her for it. The words hang in the cold air. Elena is dead. The loyal spymaster who tried to save her king paid with her life. She left a message, Aldrich continues. Carved it into my arm before she died. Said, the Omega knows the truth. I didn't understand until I felt you coming. Until the bonds started burning. He looks at me with something that might be awe or might be agony. You felt it. At the funeral. You knew I was alive. I knew something was wrong, I correct. I didn't know if you were alive or if I was going crazy. You were right. You've always been right. His hand tightens on mine. Sarah, I need to tell you about the rejection. Don't. I try to pull away but his grip, weak as it is, holds firm. I don't want to hear excuses. You rejected me. You destroyed me in front of the entire court. Nothing you say now will change that. He did it to save your life. Kane's voice cuts through my anger. Didn't he, my king? Marcus threatened her. Aldrich's expression confirms it. 3 days before the ceremony, Marcus came to me. Told me that if I claimed an Omega as my mate, I'd be making the kingdom look weak. That other territories would see it as an invitation to attack. And if I insisted on going through with it. His voice drops. He'd make sure you didn't survive the year. An accident. A rogue attack. Something tragic and unavoidable. The words punch through me like a fist. What? Marcus has connections everywhere. Assassins, mercenaries, corrupt pack members. He could have killed you a dozen different ways, and I'd never be able to prove it was him. Aldrich's eyes are desperate. I knew he was serious. Knew he'd do it. So I made a choice. You broke the bond to protect me. I hear the words but they don't make sense. Can't make sense. I broke your heart to save your life. He pulls me closer, and I smell the silver poison on him, the wrongness of his fractured soul. I thought if I rejected you publicly, if I made it brutal enough, you'd hate me. Leave the capital. Get as far from Marcus as possible. You'd be safe because you'd be too far away to be a threat to his plans. Plans? Cain steps forward. What plans? Marcus wants the throne. Has wanted it since we were children. Being the younger brother, the spare heir, it ate at him. Aldrich's breathing is getting more labored. The silver poisoning is spreading. He's been building an army. Making alliances with rogues, exiled wolves, anyone who has a grudge against the crown. I found evidence 6 months ago. Started investigating. And he found out. So he poisoned you, I say. Made it look like natural causes. He was supposed to finish the job after the funeral. Have his people bury me alive in the crypts where no one would hear me suffocate. Aldrich's smile is terrible. But Elena interfered. Split my soul, hid part of me here, altered the poison collar on my body to keep me alive just long enough. He trails off. She knew you'd come. Knew you'd sense something wrong. She bet everything on an Omega's instincts. And she was right. Elena sacrificed her life believing I'd figure it out. Believing I'd save the king who rejected me. The rejection, I say, circling back to what matters. Why didn't you finish it? Why didn't you speak the final words? Aldrich's eyes meet mine, and in them I see everything he's not saying. Pain and regret and something that looks dangerously like hope. Because I couldn't. When it came to that final severance, to actually breaking the bond forever, I couldn't do it. Told myself it was to keep you safer. If the bond still technically existed, maybe my wolf would protect you somehow, even from a distance. But the truth? His voice drops to a whisper. The truth is I'm a selfish bastard who couldn't let you go. Not completely. Not forever. The confession steals my breath. I rejected you, he continues, the words pouring out now like he's been holding them back for years. I said the cruelest things I could think of. Let the court laugh at you. Let them think you were weak, unworthy. I let you suffer all of that. But I couldn't speak those final words. Couldn't sever the bond completely. And I've hated myself for it every day since. Behind me, Cain has gone very still. You kept the bond active, I say slowly, even though keeping it incomplete caused me 2 years of pain. 2 years of feeling broken and wrong because the severance never finished. You did that. I did. Aldrich doesn't look away. Doesn't make excuses. And if you want to leave me here to die in chains, I'd understand. I'd deserve it. I should want that. Should want him to suffer the way he made me suffer. But looking at him now, broken, poisoned, barely holding on to his humanity, I don't feel satisfaction. Just a hollow kind of sorrow. I never wanted to be your mate, I say, and it's true. I never asked for a bond to an alpha king who saw omegas as political liabilities. The moon goddess chose this, not me. I know. But I'm not going to let you die. I turn to Cain. Bring him. The body. We need both parts in the same place to have any chance of saving him. Cain doesn't argue. Doesn't point out that this is probably a terrible idea. He just goes to retrieve the unconscious Aldrich from outside. I turn back to the chained king. Tell me about the chains. How do we break them without triggering your wolf? You can't. His eyes are flickering more rapidly now, amber to gold to amber. The moment these come off, my wolf will take over. And in this state, fragmented and poisoned, it won't be the controlled shift you're used to. It'll be pure rage. Pure instinct. Then we'll deal with it. I'm already examining the chains, looking for weak points. Your spymaster didn't split your soul and hide you here just so you could die anyway. There has to be a way. Sarah. Don't. I cut him off. Don't tell me it's hopeless. Don't tell me to leave. Elena died believing I could save you. Cain has risked everything to help me. And I've dragged your half-dead body through the Deadlands following a bond that shouldn't exist. I meet his eyes. So you're going to tell me how to break these chains? And then you're going to fight to stay in control when I do. Because I didn't come all this way to watch you give up. Something in Aldrich's expression shifts. The desperation fades, replaced by something that looks like the king I remember. Strong. Commanding. Unbreakable. The chains are keyed to silver and blood magic, he says, his voice steadier. You need to bleed on them while speaking words of release. Old words. The ones carved into the pillar behind me. I move around him to look. The ancient script is barely visible, worn down by time and the Deadlands' corruption. But with effort, I can make out the words. They're in the old tongue, the language wolves spoke before we learned human speech. Can you read it? Aldrich asks. Enough. Every Omega learns the old tongue. It's part of our heritage, our connection to the ancient ways. But if I speak these words, if I break the chains, my wolf will attack. Yes. He twists to look at me, the chains burning into his skin with the movement. Which is why you need to run the moment the silver releases. Don't try to help. Don't try to calm me. Just run and don't look back. That's not happening. Sarah. I said no. I move back in front of him, close enough to see the silver poisoning spreading through the veins in his neck. Your spymaster split your soul for a reason. She kept your body alive for a reason. The bond is still active for a reason. I'm not running. We're finishing this. Cain returns, carrying the unconscious Aldrich. He lays the body on the stone floor beside the pillar. Goddess, this is disturbing. It's like looking at a corpse and the man who died at the same time. We need to merge them, I say. Once the chains are off, once his soul is free, we need to reunite it with his body. The bond should help, it's pulling me toward this Aldrich, which means it knows where he really is. And if it doesn't work? Cain asks. Then at least he won't die in chains. I pull out the knife Cain gave me. The blade is sharp enough. It'll do. Get ready. When I break the chains, his wolf is going to go feral. You need to protect the body while I try to guide his soul back into it. That's a terrible plan, Cain says. You have a better one? He doesn't. I kneel in front of Aldrich one more time. His eyes are almost completely gold now. The wolf is so close to the surface. When this is over, I say quietly, when you're whole again, we're going to have a long conversation about the rejection. About the bond. About what you did and why. I know. And I'm not promising forgiveness. I'm not promising anything except that I'll keep you alive long enough to face what you've done. That's more than I deserve. His smile is sad. Thank you, Sarah. For coming. For trying. For being stronger than I ever gave you credit for. I don't respond. I just slice my palm open with the knife and press my bleeding hand to the silver chain around his wrist. The old words come to my lips, rough and ancient. They feel wrong in my mouth, like speaking them is breaking some fundamental law. But I push through, reciting the release spell carved into the pillar. The silver begins to glow. Aldrich's eyes go completely gold. Run, he gasps. Sarah, run. The chains shatter. And the Alpha King transforms into something that's not quite man and not quite wolf. Something caught between forms, broken by poison and torture and 2 years of incomplete rejection. His scream is half human, half animal, filled with rage and pain and madness. He lunges for me. Cain slams into him from the side, blade drawn, trying to hold back a feral king who doesn't recognize friend from enemy anymore. They crash into the pillar hard enough to crack stone. I don't run. Instead, I move to the unconscious body on the floor. The empty shell waiting for its soul to return. I place my hands on Aldrich's chest, the real chest, the one with the poison collar still slowly killing him. And I reach for the bond. It burns in my chest, that golden thread connecting me to the fractured king currently trying to kill his own beta. I grab onto it with everything I have, all my Omega strength, all my instincts, all my desperate hope that Elena's sacrifice wasn't for nothing. Come back, I whisper to the bond, to the soul it's connected to. Aldrich, come back to your body. Come back and fight. Come back and live. The thread pulses. Resists. Behind me, Cain shouts as claws rake across his shoulder. The feral king is winning. Please, I beg, and I'm not sure who I'm begging anymore. Aldrich. The moon goddess. The bond itself. Please come back. I can't do this alone. The kingdom can't survive this alone. We need you. I need you. I don't say it out loud. Don't let myself acknowledge what that might mean. But the bond hears it anyway. The golden thread flares bright enough to hurt. And something shifts. The feral king stops mid-attack. His gold eyes lock on me, on where I'm kneeling beside his empty body. For a moment, he just stares, like he's seeing something he can't quite comprehend. Then his form begins to glow. That's it, I whisper. Come back. Follow the bond home. The light intensifies, painful and beautiful. The feral king's body is dissolving into pure essence, soul made visible. It streams across the chamber toward where I'm kneeling, toward the body that's been waiting for it. The essence pours into the unconscious Aldrich's chest, directly where my hands are resting. I feel it flow through me, burning and freezing at the same time. The bond pulses with each wave of returning soul. And then, with a gasp that sounds like drowning in reverse, Aldrich's eyes fly open. The real eyes. In the real body. Whole again. He stares up at me, breathing hard, and for the first time in 2 years, I see actual recognition. Not disgust. Not duty. Just, seeing me. Really seeing me. Sarah, he breathes. You came. Don't thank me yet, I say, even as relief floods through me. We're still in the Deadlands, Marcus is hunting us, and you still have a poison collar slowly killing you. Right. He tries to sit up and immediately collapses back down. Goddess, everything hurts. You've been poisoned, tortured, and had your soul split in two, Cain says, moving to help me support the king. He's bleeding from the shoulder where the feral version attacked him, but he's alive. Hurting is expected. Aldrich focuses on his beta, and something complicated crosses his face. I attacked you. You were feral. It happens. Cain's tone says it's not fine, but they'll deal with it later. Can you walk? I can try. With our help, Aldrich gets to his feet. He's unsteady, weak from days of torture and poison. But he's whole. His soul is back where it belongs. Now we just need to get him out of the Deadlands alive. We need to move, I say, looking toward the temple entrance. Marcus's forces will have tracked us here. We don't have much time. No. Aldrich's voice is stronger now, more like the king I remember. We don't. But before we go. He turns to me, and his hand comes up to cup my face with a gentleness that shocks me. I need to say this. Need you to hear it. What I did to you was unforgivable. The rejection, the cruelty, leaving the bond incomplete, all of it. I thought I was saving you, but really I was just a coward who couldn't make a clean break. Aldrich. I'm not asking for forgiveness, he continues. I'm sorry, Sarah. For everything. And if we survive this, if we somehow make it out of the Deadlands and take back my throne from Marcus, I want to finish what I started. Properly this time. Either complete the bond or sever it fully. Your choice. But no more half measures. No more pain. The words hang between us. A promise and a question and an apology all at once. Before I can respond, Cain grabs my arm. We need to go. Now. I hear it then, the sound of pursuit. Dozens of wolves moving through the ruins. Marcus's hunters, closing in on the temple. We run. If you're still listening to this story up to this point, Why don't you subscribe to this channel to continue getting impactful daily stories like this? We would be most grateful if you can do that to help boost this video to reach everyone. Thank you. Chapter 5. We don't make it 20 feet from the temple before they surround us. Marcus's hunters pour from the ruins like shadows given form, at least 30 wolves in attack formation, all wearing the black and silver of the royal guard. They circle us with military precision, cutting off every escape route. And in the center of them, dressed in ceremonial armor that glints in the dying light, stands Marcus Blackthorn. He looks nothing like the smooth politician from the funeral. This Marcus is a warrior king, all hard edges and cold calculation. His sword is drawn, spelled silver that hums with dark magic. And his eyes, they're wrong. Too bright. Too focused. Like he's looking at us but seeing something else entirely. "Brother," Marcus says, and his voice has an odd echo to it. "You're harder to kill than expected." Aldrich straightens despite his weakness, pure royal authority radiating from him. "Marcus. It's over. I know about the Nightshade Veil. About your alliance with the rogues. About Elena." His voice breaks on the spymaster's name. "Surrender now and I'll grant you exile instead of execution." Marcus laughs, and the sound makes my Omega instinct scream. There's something wrong with that laugh. Something not entirely Marcus. "Surrender? To you?" He takes a step forward, and the hunters move with him. "You, who was so weak you let an Omega be your fated mate? You, who nearly destroyed our bloodline by almost bonding with the one creature who could unmake everything Father built. What are you talking about?" I demand, before Aldrich can respond. Marcus's two bright eyes focus on me. "You don't even know, do you? Don't know what you are? What you could do?" He smiles, and it's terrible. "Tell her, Aldrich. Tell your precious Omega mate why you really rejected her." "Marcus, stop." Aldrich moves to stand between us, but he's too weak. Cain catches him before he falls. "She's not just an Omega," Marcus continues, circling us slowly. His hunters mirror his movement, tightening the noose. "She's a moon singer. Born once every 1,000 years with the power to make or unmake Alpha Kings. Her voice, properly trained, could command every wolf in the kingdom. Could dissolve pack bonds. Could remake the hierarchy itself." His smile widens. "That's why Father wanted her dead. Why he ordered you to reject her or watch her hang for treason." The words hit me like a physical blow. Moon singer. I've heard the stories, ancient legends about Omegas born with voices that could command even Alphas. Powers that made them targets and weapons in equal measure. Powers that got them killed. I look at Aldrich. Is it true? His face tells me everything before he speaks. Father figured it out when you first came to court. Had his scholars research your bloodline. When the mate bonds snapped into place, when he realized you were my fated mate. Aldrich's voice is rough. He gave me a choice. Reject you publicly and send you away, or he'd have you executed for being a threat to the crown. There were precedents. Laws from centuries ago that made moon singers capital crimes. You knew, I breathe. You knew what I was and you never told me. I was protecting you. By lying to me? By making that choice without giving me any say? The anger that floods through me is so strong it steals my breath. I had a right to know what I was. What I could do. You had a right to live, Aldrich counters. And telling you would have put you in more danger. If you'd known, if you'd tried to use your power, Father would have moved against you immediately. The only way to keep you safe was to reject you and drive you so far away that you'd never be seen as a threat again. How noble, Marcus says, his voice dripping with false sweetness. Too bad it didn't work. Because she's here now. And she's going to die anyway. He raises his sword. Kill them. All of them. Starting with the Omega. The hunters move as one, closing in for the kill. And something in me breaks open. It's not anger. Not fear. It's older than both those things. Deeper. A power that's been sleeping my entire life, waiting for this exact moment to wake up. Stop. The word tears out of my throat with a force that shakes the ruined temple. It's not loud. Not shouted. But it carries a power that makes every wolf freeze mid-step. Including Marcus. His hunters are locked in place, unable to move forward or back. Their eyes show confusion, terror, and something like awe. Even Cain and Aldrich have gone still, though I can feel them fighting the compulsion. Only Marcus seems able to resist, but barely. He's straining against invisible bonds, his two bright eyes locked on me. Impossible, he grits out. Untrained moon singers can't command. Father said. Your father was wrong about a lot of things, I say, and my voice still carries that resonance. That power. I can feel it thrumming through me, a force that wants to be used, to be unleashed. Now stand down. All of you. This ends now. It ends when I say it ends. Marcus breaks through the compulsion with visible effort. Dark magic flares around him, spelled protections that his hunters don't have. You think you can command me? I am the king. No, Cain says quietly, stepping forward. You're not. Everyone turns to look at the beta. There's something different about him now. Something has shifted in his bearing, his presence. He stands taller, more commanding. And his eyes. His eyes are amber. The exact shade of Aldrich's. What did you say? Marcus's voice has gone very cold. I said you're not the king. Neither is Aldrich. Not the only rightful heir, anyway. Cain reaches up and pulls off the leather cord he always wears around his neck. Hanging from it is a ring, old gold carved with the blackthorn seal. A ring that matches the one I'm wearing. My name is Cain Blackthorn. Twin brother to Aldrich. Stolen at birth by our father's command and raised in exile by the Shadow Pack. The silence is absolute. That's impossible, Aldrich says, but his voice wavers. He's staring at Cain, really looking at him, and seeing what I'm seeing now. The resemblance. The same jaw, the same eyes, the same proud bearing. How did we miss it? I learned the truth 6 months ago, Cain continues. Found records our father kept hidden. Documents about the spare twin that was smuggled away the night we were born. He feared having 2 potential heirs, thought it would lead to civil war. So he sent one away. Me. His laugh is bitter. Raised me as a commoner in the Shadow Pack. Trained me to be a warrior. Then brought me back to court as his son's beta, never telling anyone the truth. Why? Aldrich demands. Why tell us now? Because I'm tired of secrets. Tired of watching this family destroy itself over a throne that was built on lies. Cain turns to Marcus. You want the crown? Fine. Let's settle this the old way. Trial by combat. Winner takes the throne. You can't be serious, I say. Cain, you're wounded. Marcus has spelled armor. And Aldrich can barely stand. Then it'll be a short fight. Cain's smile is sharp as broken glass. But at least it'll be honest. No more poison. No more schemes. Just 3 brothers fighting for what they believe is theirs. He looks at Marcus. Unless you're too much of a coward to face us directly. Marcus's face twists with rage. I am no coward. I am the rightful king. He slams his sword into the ground, and dark magic explodes outward. His hunters scatter, released from my compulsion. I have bled for this crown. Sacrificed for it. Done everything father demanded. His voice rises to a scream. Everything he commanded. The word echoes strangely. And suddenly I understand. He's under a compulsion spell, I say. Marcus, your father, he's controlling you. Even from beyond the grave. Lies. But Marcus stumbles, his hand going to his head. For a moment, his eyes clear. The unnatural brightness fades and I see fear there. Genuine, human fear. No. No, father is dead. He can't. He was a paranoid tyrant who didn't trust any of his sons, Aldrich says, understanding dawning. He separated Cain from me. Tried to force me to reject my fated mate. And you, he stares at his brother with something like pity. He gave you the throne, but only on his terms. Made sure you'd never truly be free of his control. Marcus's face is a battlefield of warring emotions. Horror and rage and desperate denial. I chose this. I wanted the throne. I poisoned you of my own free will. Did you? I ask softly. Or did you do exactly what a compulsion spell told you to do? Did you ever actually make a choice, Marcus? Or have you been your father's puppet since the day he died? Shut up. The scream tears from Marcus's throat, anguished and furious. Dark magic swirls around him, getting wilder. More chaotic. You don't know anything. None of you know what I've sacrificed. What I've endured. The spelled armor begins to crack. Not from external force, from the magic eating him alive from the inside out. Brother, Aldrich says, and despite everything, there's compassion in his voice. Let me help you. Let us break father's hold. We can fix this. We can. No. Marcus's voice has gone flat. Dead. And when he looks up, his eyes are completely black. Not amber. Not human. Just endless darkness. Too late. The spell, it's taken root too deep. Father made sure of that. Made sure I'd rather die than let his legacy fail. He raises his sword, and it's burning with dark fire now. So if I die, I take you all with me. He charges. Not at Aldrich. Not at Cain. At me. Because killing the Moon Singer kills any chance of the kingdom healing. Kills any possibility of breaking the old king's poisoned legacy. Time seems to slow. I see Aldrich and Cain moving to intercept, but they're too far away. Too slow. Marcus is going to reach me first. That burning sword is going to. The power explodes out of me. Not a command this time. Not words. Just pure sound, a note that carries the weight of 1,000 years of Moon Singer blood. It hits Marcus like a physical wall, stopping him mid-charge. The spelled armor shatters. The dark fire extinguishes. And Marcus drops to his knees, screaming as the compulsion spell rips away from his soul like skin being torn off. The sound goes on and on. Through me. Through the temple. Through the earth itself. I feel it connecting to every wolf in range, the hunters, Aldrich, Cain, even Marcus. Feel the pack bonds lighting up like a constellation. And I understand. This is what a Moon Singer can do. Not just command. Not just control. We can see the bonds. Feel them. Remake them or unmake them according to our will. I could kill everyone here with a thought. Could dissolve every pack bond in the kingdom with a song. Could remake the hierarchy entirely, making myself alpha over everyone. The power is intoxicating. Terrifying. Too much for any one person to hold. I almost lose myself in it. Almost let it consume me. But then I feel something else. Another bond. The golden thread connecting me to Aldrich. Still broken. Still incomplete. Still causing us both pain after 2 years of damage. I grab onto that bond like a lifeline. Use it to anchor myself. To remember who I am. Sarah Ashwood. An Omega who just wanted to survive. Who never asked for power or destiny or any of this. The sound cuts off abruptly. I collapse, gasping, the power receding like a tide. But the damage is done. Marcus lies on the ground, no longer screaming. The compulsion spell is gone, I can see it shattered around him like broken glass. But so is most of his magic. He's breathing, but barely. The removal of a compulsion that deep, that old, has left him shattered. The hunters have fled. Smart of them. Cain and Aldrich both move toward me at the same time. They stop, looking at each other, some unspoken understanding passing between the twin brothers who only just learned they were brothers at all. That was. Aldrich trails off, searching for words. Terrifying, Cain finishes. That was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. And I've fought in 12 wars. I'm sorry. My voice is hoarse. Using that much power burned my throat raw. I didn't mean to, I couldn't control it. You saved us, Aldrich says. He kneels beside me, one hand coming up to cup my face. The touch is gentle despite everything. Sarah, you saved all of us. Including Marcus. I look at the broken man on the ground. He's curled into himself, shaking. Without the compulsion driving him, he looks smaller. Younger. Lost. What do we do now? I ask. Now? Cain laughs, but there's no humor in it. Now we figure out which of us actually deserves to be king. 2 legitimate heirs and one who just tried to murder everyone. This is going to be complicated. There's a process, Aldrich says. The old laws. When multiple heirs have equal claim, they present themselves to the Moon Council. The council chooses based on. He stops. We all stop. Because the ground is shaking. Not trembling. Shaking. Like something massive is moving beneath the temple. The ancient stones crack and groan. Dust rains down from what's left of the roof. What did you do? Cain demands, looking at me. I don't know. I just used my voice, I didn't. The floor splits open. Right down the center of the temple, a crack appears and widens rapidly. We scramble back as the stone falls away, revealing darkness below. A tomb. An ancient tomb that's been sealed under the temple for goddess knows how long. And from that darkness comes light. Blue-white light that pulses like a heartbeat. No, Aldrich breathes. That's not possible. The legends, they're just stories. What legends? I demand, but I can already feel it. The power rolling up from that tomb. Old power. Wild power. Power that makes my moon singer abilities feel like a candle next to a forest fire. Words appear in the stone around the crack. Glowing letters in the old tongue, burning themselves into the temple floor. When the moon singer rises, the true Alpha King returns. The true Alpha King, Cain says slowly. The first king. The one who united all the wolf packs before the kingdoms formed. The legends say he's not dead. Just sleeping. Waiting for a moon singer to wake him, I finish. Because I can feel it now. Feel the bond connecting my power to whatever is in that tomb. Not a mate bond. Something older. A connection between Moon Singer and Alpha that predates the modern pack system by centuries. The light intensifies. Growing brighter. Taking shape. And then I see them. Eyes. 4 glowing eyes staring up from the darkness. Not 2 eyes like a wolf or human. 4. All of them fixed on me with an intelligence that makes my blood run cold. A voice echoes from the tomb. Deep. Ancient. Speaking the old tongue with perfect clarity. Finally. The moon singer has come. The binding can be broken. The true kingdom can rise. The eyes blink, all 4 at once. And the usurpers, the voice continues, can be judged. Something is climbing out of that tomb. Something massive. I can see the outline now, too large to be a wolf, too wild to be human. A shape that shifts and changes with each breath. Beside me, Aldrich has gone white. Goddess save us. It's real. The legend is real. What legend? I scream, backing away from the crack. What is that thing? Not a thing, Aldrich says, his voice hollow. A king. The first king. The one who ruled before the Blackthorns. Before any of the royal bloodlines. Before. The creature pulls itself up onto the temple floor. It's neither wolf nor man but something in between. Massive, at least 8 feet tall, covered in silver fur that glows with its own light. It has a wolf's head, but wrong, more primal, with those 4 eyes arranged in 2 pairs. Its body is humanoid but too large, too powerful, built like something designed to hunt and kill and rule. And around its neck, bound in chains of pure moonlight, is a collar. A prison. A binding that's kept it trapped for 1,000 years. Until now. The first king looks at me with all 4 eyes. Moon Singer, it says, and its voice is in my head now, bypassing my ears entirely. Daughter of the ancient bloodline. Singer of the old songs. You have called me forth. Now you must choose. Choose what? I managed to ask. These 3 males claim the right to rule. Claim the throne built on my bones, my legacy, my power. The first king's gaze sweeps over Aldrich, Cain, and Marcus. But none of them are worthy. None of them understand what it means to be true king. What it costs. What it requires. Then what do you want? Cain demands, his hand on his blade even though I'm certain that blade would do nothing against this creature. What I have always wanted. The first king turns back to me. A moon singer to break these chains. To release me from the binding your ancestors placed on me when they decided one king was too dangerous. When they split the kingdom into bloodlines and pack bonds and all the pretty lies you call civilization. My ancestors imprisoned you, I say slowly. Moon singers. We didn't just make alpha kings. We unmade them too. Yes. Those 4 eyes gleam with approval. And now you must choose again, daughter of that ancient power. Do you release me? Do you let me reclaim my kingdom, unite all wolves under one true rule again? Or do you keep me bound? Keep the kingdom fractured and weak and fighting itself? That's not a choice, Aldrich says. That's a threat. It's both. The first king's smile shows too many teeth. Because if she refuses to choose, if she tries to walk away from her power, her destiny, then I will break these chains myself. It will take time. Centuries, perhaps. But I will be free eventually. And when I am, I will remember who refused me. Will remember these 3 whelps who claim my throne. Will remember the moon singer who denied me. The thread is clear. Choose now, or doom future generations to face this creature when it's even angrier. Sarah, Aldrich says quietly. Don't listen to it. We'll find another way. There is no other way, the first king says. There is only the choice. Free me or bind me stronger. Make me your weapon or your enemy. Choose which of these 3 males deserves power, or choose me instead and remake the kingdom as it was meant to be. I look at the 3 brothers. Aldrich, the rejected mate who kept secrets to protect me. Cain, the twin raised in exile who just wants truth. Marcus, the brother whose mind was shattered by their father's compulsion. None of them are perfect. All of them are broken in different ways. But they're trying. Fighting against the poison of their bloodline. Trying to be better than their father. And this creature, this first king who speaks of unity and truth, wants to drag the kingdom back to a time when one tyrant ruled everything. When moon singers were bound to alpha kings in a relationship that sounds an awful lot like slavery. I've spent 2 years being broken. Being told I'm weak. Being treated like a political liability. I'm done being weak. I'm done with other people making choices for me. I choose, I say, my voice ringing with moon singer power again, none of you. The first king's eyes widen in surprise. I don't choose you, I tell the creature. I don't choose freedom or binding or any of it. You're a relic of a darker age, and I won't be the one to unleash you on a kingdom that's finally starting to evolve past tyranny. I turn to the three brothers. And I don't choose any of you for king. Not yet. Not until you prove you can work together. Until you can rule as a council instead of tearing the kingdom apart fighting over power. That's not how monarchy works, Marcus says. His voice is weak but his mind seems clearer without the compulsion. There can only be one king. Then change the law, I snap. You're royalty. You make the laws. Make new ones. Better ones. Ones that don't involve poisoning brothers or rejecting fated mates or imprisoning ancient kings under temples. You think it's that simple? Aldrich asks. No. I think it's that hard. But you're going to do it anyway. I can feel the power building in me again, stronger this time. Because I am a moon singer. And I am done with alpha kings who think they can control me, use me, or reject me for my own good. So here's my choice. You three work together to heal this kingdom, or I dissolve every pact bond in it and we start over from scratch. The threat hangs in the air. You wouldn't, Cain says. Try me. The first king laughs. It's a terrible sound, full of dark amusement. Oh, I like her. She has the old fire. The old fury. Very well, Moon Singer. Keep your kingdom fractured. Keep your pretender kings. But know this. The chains around its neck glow brighter, and I realize it's been testing them this whole time. Seeing if my presence weakened the binding. It has. Just slightly. But enough. The binding weakens each time a Moon Singer rises, the first king says. Each time one of your bloodline touches their power. And you, daughter, you burn brighter than any in 1,000 years. You've weakened my chains more in one night than centuries of dormancy. So I will wait. I will sleep again. And when the next Moon Singer comes, or the one after that, or the one after that, when my chains finally break, I will remember this moment. This choice. The four eyes fix on me one last time. I will remember that you could have freed me with honor. Instead, I will take my freedom with blood. The first king sinks back into the tomb. The light fades. The crack in the floor begins to seal itself, stone grinding back together like the earth is healing. But before it closes completely, I hear one last whisper from below. The true king returns, whether you choose him or not. Then silence. The temple floor is whole again. No crack. No tomb. No ancient king. Just cracked stone and exhausted wolves trying to process what just happened. Well, Cain finally says. That was apocalyptic. Marcus laughs. It's slightly hysterical but genuine. We really are cursed. Our father. That thing. Even the Moon Singer wants nothing to do with us. I didn't say that. I look at Aldrich, at the incomplete bond still connecting us. Still causing pain. I said I won't choose any of you as king until you prove you deserve it. But the bond. I take a deep breath. The bond is different. That's between us. Not about politics or power or kingdoms. Just two people who were forced together by fate and then torn apart by fear. Aldrich steps closer. What are you saying? I'm saying we should talk. Really talk. About the rejection, the bond, what we both want going forward. I glance at Cain, see the resigned acceptance in his eyes. He knows there's no future for his feelings. The mate bond makes that impossible. But not here. Not now. First we need to get you healed, stop the poison, and probably explain to the kingdom why their new king is suddenly part of a three-way rulership council. You're really serious about that? Marcus asks. The three of us ruling together? Your father wanted you to destroy each other. Wanted his sons fighting over scraps of power. I look at each of them. The best revenge is refusing to play his game. Building something better. Together. The three brothers exchange glances. Some silent conversation happening between them, or maybe between Aldrich and Cain, twins finally recognizing each other. It could work, Cain says slowly. Three-part council. Each of us with equal authority. Checks and balances built in. The other kingdoms would mock us, Marcus points out. Let them, Aldrich says. We'd rather be mocked and stable than respected and constantly at each other's throats. He extends his hand to Marcus. Brother? Marcus stares at the offered hand. Then, slowly, he takes it. Brother. Cain joins them, completing the circle. 3 hands clasped. 3 brothers bound not by their father's poison but by choice. It's a start. Above us, the temple groans. The power I released, the first king's brief awakening, it's destabilized the whole structure. We should leave, I say. Before this whole place comes down. We move toward the exit together. Marcus leans on Cain. Aldrich leans on me. The poison collar is still slowly killing him, but he's stronger now. Whole again. His soul reunited with his body. We emerge from the temple into twilight. The deadlands stretch before us, gray and lifeless. But in the distance, past the boundary, I can see green. Living forest. The way home. It's going to be a long journey back, Cain says. Worth it though, Marcus replies. Without the compulsion, his voice is different. Younger. More uncertain. If we actually manage to pull this off. We will, Aldrich says, and there's the king in his voice again. Not tyrant. Not the man who rejected me. Just someone who believes in possibility despite everything. We have to. We start walking. Behind us, deep in the earth, I feel the first king watching. Waiting. Patient in a way only immortals can be. The chains weaken tonight. Next time a moon singer rises, they'll weaken more. Eventually, they'll break. But that's a problem for another day. Another moon singer. Another generation. Right now, I just need to get us home alive. And maybe, just maybe, figure out what I want from an alpha king who kept too many secrets but claims he did it all for love. The incomplete bond pulses between us with each step. 2 years of pain. 2 years of broken connection. Time to decide if we heal it, or finally cut it clean. The choice, for once, is entirely mine. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe, like and share this video to continue listening to this type of story daily and also, to appreciate this community too. I would like to hear your wonderful opinion about this story. Please comment below.